So our application now looks like this. Much better already. We're getting closer to the goal of creating a messenger here, or to creating an app where we can create messages. Now the content is still very static though. Yes, we dynamically output it in the template, but we're not able to change it, are we? Well, we'll make this really dynamic later on, but let's already improve this a little bit. Let's learn about another way of data binding in Angular 2. Two-way data binding. Right now I'm using string interpolation to output data. Now it would be great if we could also dynamically set it. So let's add a simple input field up here. It doesn't have too much styling, just a simple input like that. And now I want to hook up this input, or whatever we type here, to the content of this message, so that we ourselves can change the content of this message. Nothing easier than that. Angular 2 offers us a nice syntax for this form of data binding. We use squared brackets, and then inside of these squared brackets, parentheses. And then inside here, ng model. Now this might look strange. What it basically allows us to do is, it allows us to bind this input here to any property we set up between the quotation marks here. So don't use curly braces here, you only use it for string interpolation. Here, simply type the property to which you want to bind. In my case, this is message content. Now what this all does is, it tells Angular 2, whenever I type something in the input, store it in message.content. And whenever message.content gets changed somewhere else, or at the beginning of this application is simply initialized, also output it as the value in this input. This is why it's called two-way data binding. It works in both directions. We can change it and we can see it there. It will also affect message.content wherever else we use it in this application. Now in order to use it, we also have to edit the app module. Specifically, we have to import another built-in module. Right now we're only importing the browser module, which contains some basic things we need for a browser application we built with Angular 2. Now we also need the forms module, because this happens to be the built-in module, a module Angular 2 ships with, which offers us access to this ng model thing we're using. So if I save this, and you also need to import this from @AngularForms, as you can see here. So if I add this and then I save my applications to let it recompile, if I then reload the application, you now see we get this new input field, which automatically also displays a message. Keep in mind, nowhere am I using string interpolation related to this input. So this a message we see here clearly comes from this ng model here. So now with that set up, watch the message below in the panel if I start changing this. Do you see this? Now we're dynamically changing the content through Angular 2's two-way data binding. Now, of course, this is not really how the application will work in the end. We want to have a clean input field which we can submit upon clicking a button and not change it all the time we type something here. Also, we will later on have multiple messages. But we will use this concept again. And I want you to understand how the data works in Angular 2 and how we can make it flow from the template to the component class and back to the template, like we're doing right now.